Miss Joska, Fida, Yisreal, Narang, and I am from SMAN Negeri 1 Palangka Raya. As the first speaker, I start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Today's motion is this House regrets the commercialization of higher education. As the opposition team, I proudly stand against this motion. But before presenting our case, let me define the key terms. First is higher education. It refers to education at the university level and above. Commercialization universities means that universities is operate by charging tuition and generating their own revenue to provide educational services. Our team acknowledged that commercialization is not perfect. However, it is a better alternative than relying on only on non-commercialized universities because it expands access to higher education and gives students more opportunities. Our main argument is commercialized universities provide more educational choice and opportunities for students. Commercialized universities fill this gap. Since they can generate their own revenue, they're able to open more campuses, offer more study programs, and accept more students. This increased the overall number of places available in higher education. As a result, students are no longer dependent on only one or two universities. Instead, they have multiple options and can choose the tuition that fits their goals, interests, and what they like. As a result, this is important because rejection from one university should not mean the end of students' educational journey. Commercialized universities became practical backup options instead of waiting another for the next year admissions cycle. Students can continue their education immediately. This saves valuable time, allows students to graduate earlier, and helps them enter the workforce without unnecessary delays. More importantly, over time, having more universities also reduce the number of students left without access to higher education because the overall capacity continues to grow. And the impact first, commercialization expands access to higher education by providing more university places. Second, it gives students more choice instead of forcing everyone to compete for every limited number of seats. And third, it ensures that students who are not accepted into one university still have another pathway to continue their education without losing a year. For this reason, commercialization should not be regretted. It fills the gaps left by limited university capacity and creates more opportunities for students to pursue higher education. And that's why, as a opposition team, I proudly, firmly reject this motion. Thank you.
All right, my name is Aditya Bagus Darmawan. I am the second speaker of the opposition, and I am from SMA Negeri 1 Palangka. And I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Alongside what my first speaker has said, commercialized university has far exceeded the standard that state-funded or state-offered university has failed to achieve. Why is this so? For example, in our local university, which is Universitas of Palangka, many facilities are oftentimes off limits to students. And this off limit is because it is in neglect. It is not being taken care of despite all the funds coming from the government. Why is this a problem? Because students obviously will have a hard time conducting research with it. The reason why commercialized universities is far more superior is because the funds come from a private source rather than a budget set by the government. By having a private amount of funds, all facilities requirements can be met, thus being better than what the state university has to offer. Why is this impactful? Because first of all, Students need to conduct research to complete their study, make thesis, and do assignments from their professors. And this will become easier if there was adequate facilities to support that. If let's say we are in the state-funded university, many facilities are in neglect. Students would obviously be in stress trying to conduct research or finish their studies and or assignments when the facility is mostly unavailable to them, even after they paid the full tuition to that university. Compare that to the commercialized university with all facilities available to them after they paid the tuition. They don't have to keep stressing about how to get an information to conduct their own research because the facilities are all offered to them after the tuition is paid. It is all available for them to use because it is what's offered to them. And why is this so important? Because by having a modern technology for or facilities, students can conduct a better and accurate research for their studies. This is important for the university itself because by having a more accurate research, it in turn increases the accreditation of the students. I'm sorry, the accreditation of the universe because of what the students has done. And compare that to the state university. By having limited amount of facilities, um, achieving those goals would be way, way harder compared to the commercialized university. And that is why we, as the opposition, are proud to oppose the regret of commercialized university. Thank you.
Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Iqlima Yasmin Mulia Khairunnisa from SMAN Negeri 1 Palangka Raya. I'm as the third speaker, so I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. So, honorable educators, commercialized university play an important role in higher education because they fill the gaps that state-funded universities cannot always cover. The reason is simple. Commercialized universities often offer more or even more specialized study programs that are not available in public universities. This is not because state-funded universities are lacking in quality, but because they have limitation in funding, facilities, and resources. As a result, they cannot always provide every measure that students need. A clear example can be found in Central Kalimantan, Universitas Palangka Raya, or UPR, is the main state university in the region. However, it does not have a faculty of dentistry. Meanwhile, Muhammadiyah University in Central Kalimantan, or UMPR, offers a dentistry program. This shows that commercialized universities are not replacing public universities. Instead, they complement them by providing programs that are not yet available in state-funded institutions. This has a real impact on students. Imagine someone in Central Kalimantan whose dream is to become a dentist. Without a commercialized university offering that program, they would have to continue their education outside the region. For many families, studying far from home means additional living expenses and finance. Students have another option. They can pursue the major they want while staying closer to their families and communities. This makes higher education more accessible and allows more students to achieve their academic goals without facing unnecessary barriers. The benefits also extend beyond individual students. When more student programs are available locally, fewer students need to leave the region to pursue their education. At the same time, the region can develop professionals in fields that were previously unavailable, helping meet local needs and contributing to regional development. In the end, commercialized universities do not compete with state-funded universities. They complement them by expanding educational opportunities, increasing access to specialized programs, and creating a more diverse higher education system for everyone, which is why I'm proud to oppose. Thank you. And now, I will be speaking as a reply in 3, 2, 1. Commercialization is often seen as something negative because people assume it only exists to make profit. However, that assumption does not reflect the whole picture. Commercialized universities are not simple selling education. They expand access to higher education by offering more study programs, better facilities, and opportunities that may not always be available in state-funded universities. Yes, studying in commercialized university can be more expensive. However, many cases, students gain access to better facilities, more specialized programs, and learning environments that reflects the tuition they pay. However, this provides another quality option alongside public universities. More importantly, commercialization gives students more choice. Every student has different interests and career goals, yet not every state university can offer every field of study. Commercialized university help fill that gap, allowing students to pursue the major they truly want instead of being limited by what is available. Commercialized also helps reduce the pressure on state university. Every year, thousands of students compete for a limited number of seats. By providing additional pathway to quality higher education, commercialized university give more students the opportunity to continue their studies and achieve their goals. Higher education should be about creating opportunities, not limiting them. Commercialization helps make those opportunities more diverse and more accessible for students with different dreams and ambition, which is why we proud to oppose. Thank you.